Right, good afternoon, councillors and staff, and welcome to our October Ordinary Council meeting. Please be advised that this council meeting is being recorded and live streamed. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded and live streamed. Please ensure that if and when you speak, you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cabonne Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. The recording of this meeting will be made publicly available on Council's website. I'll call the first item, which is applications for leave of absence. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Ryan. We have one from Councillor Weaver who's not well. Otherwise, everybody's here, so I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Thank you. Declarations of interest. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor O'Ryan. Does anybody have anything to declare? Councillor Batten.
I'm declaring an interest in items 15 and 16 and we'll leave and go and get a cup of tea.
No problem, thank you for that. Councillor...
Yep, I'd like to declare in item 7 of the confidential, and I'd prefer to leave the room.
No problem. Anything further? All right, thank you everybody. I'll put that. All those in favour? Yes, that's carried. Item 3 is declarations of political donation. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Does anything have anything to declare? I have nothing to declare. Thank you everybody. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Item 4 is mayoral minute of appointments, which I'll move, and I've tabled a report. Councillor Jones has tabled a report. Councillor Rawson has. Councillor Pearson has. Councillor Batten has. Councillor Nash. And that's anybody else? No? Yep. Anything verbal? Councillor Rawson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to acknowledge the support that Cabonne has given to the Australian National Field Days each year, and this I know that you, Mr. Mayor, and the Deputy Mayor attended the function in official capacity last Friday, which was excellent. You probably would have noticed the crowds that were there. But I also wanted to note the success, what appeared to be the success of the Cabonne Pavilion. There was a lot of people in there over the period of 3 days. Very successful, good support from Council for a number of the smaller exhibitors within our region. And also particularly to acknowledge and thank Council staff who were involved in reconcreting one end of that shed, which for years and years and years was just a dusty, just a bit of a dust bowl down there, down at one end, and they were asked if Cabonne could chip in and do that, and it was all done before the field days and already, and it was fantastic. I'd just like to acknowledge that and thank the staff for their support.
Yeah, thank you. Very well said, actually. The Cabonne shed was very impressive, actually. When I walked through there on Friday, a number of our local producers in there, as well as the Borinal men's shed as well, were in there, and it was very good. And a windy day, and I think all the renovations that have been taken place over a number of years there, it's improved out of sight, and it's really is quite spectacular there. We've got that wall on, and so they were well and truly protected out of the wind, the cool wind that was there on Friday. And what you said was 100% correct, that the amount of work, and thank you to the staff that also organised those exhibitors and coordinated all them in there, as well as the work that you did mention as well. So thank you. All right, nothing further. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 5 is the Mayoral General Manager's employment contract, and you'll note the General Manager has left the room. He left one early, but anyway, he's left the room. So does anybody have any comment or questions in relation to that?
Hopefully he's only just left the room,
All right.
not the building.
All right, thank you, everybody. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. See if he wants to come back. The mayoral minute went through, General Manager, so you're still here.
Thank you. Always good to know you, Mr. Mayor.
Item 6 is Committee of the Whole. Can I have somebody move in second? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Second by Councillor Nash. Does anybody wish to call any items in the Committee of the Whole? Councillor Nash.
Item 12, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Item 12, yep. Anything else? No. All right.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm just trying to find the what it is. Which number is it? No, I can't find it. No, all right, no, it's okay. No. It's out in the exhibition.
Yeah, it's not in there.
Yeah, so it's not.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I might call item 8 too, thanks.
Item 8?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, anything further? Nothing further, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 7 is confirmation of minutes of some previous meetings, which is the ordinary council meeting in September and the 2 committee meetings in October. And I'll be moving in a second. Councillor Jones, thank you. Councillor Rawson has seconded. Any discussion on the minutes at all? All good? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 8 is in the Committee of the Whole. Item 9 is the Cabonne Housing Land Development Project. Move in a second. Councillor Jones moves, second by Councillor Poole. Any discussion at all? Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wholeheartedly support this motion to provide flood resilient housing options for residents who wish to stay in Eugowra. This is another milestone in our long road to recovery. And in doing so, I wish to acknowledge the New South Wales Government for the $2 million in funding through the Regional Development and Community Investment Program, and in particular thank the Minister for Recovery, Janelle Saffin, and the Member for Orange, Phil Donato, for their support to achieve this positive outcome. We've said before, and I've said before, that and continue to say that natural disaster recovery should be above politics and should be solely focused on the community and the people impacted. I'm proud that as a council we have stood shoulder to shoulder with the Cabonne community throughout the rebuilding effort and work with all sides and our independent members to finally secure funding for the Cabonne Housing and Land Development Project in Eugowra. This project will create a stronger, safer and more sustainable Cabonne for both now and for generations to come. It's more than just land, making land available and putting services to that land. It's about helping the people of Eugowra stay together and strengthening the local economy, because we know that if families leave Eugowra, that would have a detrimental effect on the local schools, shops and cafes. Mr. Mayor, I think it's important that as part of this debate that I place on the record the journey Cabonne Council has been on to secure this $2 million through this competitive grant. I want to highlight your relentless advocacy through the Community Leaders Forum our meetings with the Governor-General, the Governor of New South Wales, the Prime Minister, 2 Premiers, various federal and state ministers and members of Parliament, and our council staff's ability, led through the General Manager and the Deputy General Manager, to identify strategically and innovative solutions over the past almost 3 years. In the days, weeks and months following the devastating floods of the 14th of November, residents of Eugowra told us of their commitment to rebuild and remain in Eugowra. The need for this package was also identified through our recovery plan and the Cabon Eugowra Advisory Recovery Committee meeting. That's why Cabon Council quickly identified the need for a resilient lands package, and our first conversation with the then Deputy Premier and the then responsible Minister Steph Cook to lobby for this type of funding occurred on the 22nd of November 2022, just eight days after the flood. Since then, I would hate to think of the number of hours we have spent advocating for this project. We have certainly never missed an opportunity to lobby for this as part of our broader discussions about flood recovery and mitigation. A resilient lands package was offered, and rightfully so, to the Northern Rivers following their devastating flooding event. However, unfortunately, no such package was forthcoming to Cabon. This resulted in us as a council applying in February of this year for the Competitive Regional Development and Community Investment Program grant. And while the grant guidelines advised that we would hear about the outcome of this grant in May 2025, we only heard earlier this month by the Premier in Parliament. I hope that moving forward, that the state government and its departments can work collaboratively with council to progress this as soon as possible, so that we can get people into housing that is built above the 1 in 100 flood level and is more flood resilient. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And very well said. Councillor Nash.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Councillor Jones has done a lot of work as well, and I'm just really proud of the way that our Shire, the Cabon Shire, and the General Manager, the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor and all the councillors have been in doing this and getting this forward, and I know that you do a lot of work that we don't know about, and I just thank you for it.
Very much. Well said, yep. Anything further, Earl? Councillor Paul.
Just like to thanks Jamie for your words there. There's a lot of information in the report which reads really well. Congratulations to everyone. I just wanted to read out loud this part that I picked out. Construction of homes of adequate freeboard above the 1 in 100 year flood height is achievable at this location. So good work to everybody involved with the concept, and also Dale with finding the extra funding that we need to put towards it. So it's a good one.
Thank you. Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I thank Councillor Paul for mentioning that particular point. That it's possible to have construction of homes above adequate freeboard above the 1 in 100 year flood height is achievable. Noting the fact that the 1 in 100 year flood height as measured currently is now obsolete, and that really needs to be considered for any future development, not just in Eugowra but for any floodplain area in New South Wales. Look, I completely concur with the comments that have been made so far, particularly from the Deputy Mayor, about all of the hard work that's gone into, from Cabon Council, into getting this funding and to support the community of Eugowra. I absolutely support the project and absolutely support, the program, I should say. My only concern, and has been all the way along from the beginning and at previous votes for this, is about the location of this. Nothing more, nothing less. It's about the location. So I'm going to be the one spanner in the works, and I will again vote against this for that reason, that it's inappropriate location for it. I'll be very, very happy to be proven wrong about the ability to have resilient homes above flood level in that location. I'd be very, very happy to be proven wrong, but I'm afraid I don't think so. So Look, congratulations to the team who put this all together. I think it's, you know, the hard work that's got into this has been fantastic, and due consideration and due kudos should be going to staff and councillors and yourself, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, for the work, the hard work you've put in to do this. I just wanted to reiterate, the only reason I'm voting against this is because of location only. It's just about the location. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I might ask the General Manager to place comment on the risk of the location. Obviously there is some risk there, and probably get him to explain that risk.
Thanks, Mr Mayor, and thanks, councillors, for your comments, and thank you, Councillor Rawson. I think you voiced some concerns that may be out there in the community as well, and so I think it's a point that probably needs some addressing. Obviously, you're aware council has a job in front of it all the time to manage risks posed by its operations and what we do. Our roads carry a certain amount of risk. With 2,000 k's of road, we have to, so far as reasonably practical, make sure they are safe. And there's a myriad of other risks that we manage in our everyday. With regards to this situation of land and flood risks, there's also bushfire risks and many other risks that land development can place. So we obviously put in place measures through our DCP that are within the realms of, so far as reasonably practical, managing that risk. It's been mentioned this is in a 1 in 100 year area, which is a 1% risk of that type of event. There is also 500 freeboard above that, so it's another half a metre above the 1 in 100. So it does not mean that there is absolutely no risk of flooding in that area. So, and obviously there is a myriad of other areas, either Molong and that have those flood areas. So this is very much similar to the Resilient Homes Package framework, where the flood way being where the buybacks are high risk and they're offered a buyback. Areas of lower risk, and as it goes further out, are offered resilient land package. This area is away from the higher risk areas. That's why we've identified it for people who may be coming out of the buybacks that it's suitable. If you look at it and from the actual event that took place in November 22, these homes, if new homes were built there, they may be affected up to a level. And there has been homes built since the event that see it, whilst it may be get up to floor level, it would be even the one in, well, I think we've got the flood study going, but the preliminary estimates are between the 1 in 1,000 and 1 in 2,000, which may well be more frequent than that, but it's still way outside the 1 in 100 parameters that council, so far as reasonably practical, manages the risk of. So we do accept that there is no risk, but this is all about being safer. But this land is, like a large portion of Eugowra at this time, is still subject to potential flood risk, which to the 1 in 100 council with the 500 freeboard by its policy and the regulations deems acceptable. We would love to have found land that was completely out of flood zone, but that would have invariably, looking at the mapping, even though there was no availability, puts them into an increased bushfire risk. So unfortunately it's an uncomfortable position at times, but council has to accept a level of risk in the way it operates, but this is within the risk tolerances of the policy and procedures in place. But I think it's a valid issue that's been raised, and one that quite often may have members of the community may be wondering themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no further... Oh, Councillor Barton, yeah.
Just a further, through you, Mr Mayor, further clarification of that risk associated with the flooding event in Eugowra. I mean, from the flood event that Eugowra sustained in 2022, there's a fair bit of learning that we've gained from that. So reference to 1 in 100 is probably, as Councillor Rawson has rightfully identified, doesn't really apply to that event. Now, if I'm not wrong, there was a property across the road from the site that we're talking about that managed to not sustain damage from that flooding. So I would expect, if I'm not wrong, that we would be basing some of the conditions upon buildings in future based on that event, the knowledge that we've gained from that event, and on the requirements to stay above what we've actually seen. Is that the case?
Through Mr. Mayor, that's essentially correct. But the issue, one of the issues is of not just height, it's velocity. So obviously building to modern standards, ensuring the certification of footings and all the building certifications are done to the modern standard, has seen some of those buildings be more resilient than some others in New Gowrie when it was the 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 2,000, depending which version you take. But the velocity, no one flood is the same. Velocity was a big factor, but again, within our parameters, I think we can manage that issue of the building inspection process, etc. Particularly on land which and we haven't even worked out the delivery model of the homes and how that's going to operate with our partners in the state. So yes, obviously there's controls in place to again mitigate the risk so far as reasonably practical.
Well, thank you very much. I'll just place a final comment and agree with all the comments so far, and just say comment on the amount of work that the General Manager has done on this project as well. I know it was mentioned briefly there, but I just want to reinforce that he jumped on this opportunity straight away, and the leadership team followed in closely behind and really put this project together as well. So thank you to the work there by the team as well. Well, if there's nothing further, we'll put this. All those in favour? Against? You want that recorded? Yep. 1 against. Thank you, everybody. Item 10 is section 356, donations, annual school presentation awards. Move in a second, please. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Paul. Any discussion on that at all? Councillor Rawson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's just a question. Nashdale School is not mentioned. Is that because it hasn't been involved before or not being involved? I just don't know why Nashdale School's not there. Don't know the reason.
Yeah, so the comment was that the list is made, just for the recording, the list made from the redeeming of vouchers, and it appears that they may not have.
Sorry, does that mean that which schools are going to receive it just made it look as if these were the schools who were going to be the recipients of the vouchers this time around, or are they just going out to all of the schools as before?
No, they go to all the schools.
All the schools as before. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
All right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Lost in the drawer. Who knows? Well, I think that. Well, I don't know. I think that the voucher is that they can choose their own book. They mightn't like the book that's given to them. I suppose. I don't know. So a voucher enables them to go and choose whatever they like. Yeah. as in book-wise, not McDonald's.
I'm just wondering, given the fact that only a small number have actually redeemed their vouchers, whether or not this is the appropriate method of doing it. Is there a better way, or a better way of getting them to? Because presumably we pay for the vouchers, the full amount. We don't, and therefore Collins Bookshop is pocketing the difference. Is that the issue? Yes. Presumably.
Through you, Mr Chair. So previously we'd provided vouchers to all of the schools to the value of $50, and we would pay Collins Bookstore that full amount, the $950. We're unsure of how many book vouchers were being redeemed. So the last year we provided, there was a purchase order, and Collins come to an agreement with council that they would just redeem the vouchers that were actually presented. So I've actually, in theory, I suppose, saved some money because some vouchers have not been redeemed, but you're right, maybe we need to revisit the process if the students aren't seeing that as a valuable incentive.
Well, what about we just reinforce that they should redeem their vouchers this year, and if they don't, we'll have to review it. Yep. Give it one more go, and if it doesn't work, we can change the system. All right, nothing further on that. I will put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 11 is request for additional staffing hours at the Molong Library.
Through you, Mr Mayor, are we nominating now for who's attending what? Which for awards nights?
No, I think Robin will put out that list and more casually, yeah. Yeah, she'll just send out an email like normal with that list there and volunteer. Item 11, request for additional staffing hours at Molong Library. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Ryan, second by Councillor Pearson. Any discussion on that at all? Councillor Ryan?
I think that for an outlay of $4,162, it's potentially got a really good outcome. I think it's a good use of council money.
Thank you. Yep. Councillor Nash?
Yeah, through the chair. I just think that it's such a beautiful library. That's it's well worth to have more people look at it and more people go in, and it's a great little library, and yeah, quite happy to echo that.
All right, thank you very much. Anything further? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 12 is in committee of the whole. Item 13 is the Cabonne Assistance Program 25-26. Move in a second, please. Moved by Councillor Batten, second by Councillor Poole. Any issues with that funding? All happy with that? All right, no discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 14 is the events sponsorship program. Move in a second, please. Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Nash. Any discussion on them? Everybody happy with that? Councillor Nash.
Through the chair, just one question. Hasn't Manildra put in for the Christmas thing, or is that a different event?
push your microphone.
Sorry. Sorry, Mr Mayor. No, I just think that's different. That's a different bucket of money, isn't it? Because there's normally a little bit of fund that goes to each of the progress associations to support Christmas parties. Well,
Well, I think so.
Has been in the past.
Well, we think so, but that can be chased up anyway. That's,
Yeah.
It'll be chased up.
Probably clarify that a bit. That offer has gone out to progress associations, and through the Prevalent staff member, it's actually been accepted, I know, in a number of cases. So it's already been out there. But, and the letter also indicated that doesn't preclude the organisers of those events from seeking further assistance through one of the other categories. It's an amount of $1,450 in the first instance.
Thank you for that. All right, anything further on the sponsorship program? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 15, Councillor Batten's declared an interest, and also 16, I'll mention that now. So he's leaving the room. Item 15 is the transfer of remaining funds from the Daru Trust. Can I have a mover and a second, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Nash. Anything, any discussion on that? No? Straightforward? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 16 is exemption to alcohol, red area alcohol-free zone in the mall, for the mall Christmas shopping night, which would be Bank Street, Mole. Mover and a second. Councillor Poole, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Pearson. Any discussion on that at all? Nope. I don't think so. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Thanks, those. Councillor Batten, item 15 and 16 were passed as per the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Item 17 is questions for next meeting. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Does anybody have any questions for next meeting? Councillor O'Ryan.
I don't know if this is a question for next meeting or a matter of urgency. The poplar trees at Canowindra Memorial Drive, they all seem to be dead. So I know that someone has been to have a look at them, but I'm just wondering if it's something that should come to council, because there will be a lot of noise about it coming from our community.
Thank you. Matt?
Through you, Mr Chair, happy to bring a further report back to council. I can confirm that the horticulturalist is looking at those trees today to try to confirm circumstances to some of the things in the community.
Thank you for that. Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I've already flagged this request. This is a request coming from the Nashdale Lidster Consultative Committee. There's a letter that's been already sent to council about this particular issue, and I flagged with the Deputy General Manager a couple of weeks ago about I just wanted to have these things passed on to the Traffic Committee for discussion of that committee and for passing on through to Transport for New South Wales. There's been yet another high-speed motor vehicle accident at the intersection of Cargo Road and Ankara Lane, Nashdale Lane, which was potentially could have caused a fatality if there had been children through the fence this car had gone through. So obviously there's some concern within the community about that intersection yet again. So they've requested a reduction of the speed limit on that section of Cargo Road down to 50 or 60 kilometres an hour. This is around the intersection where the school and the hall are at Nashdale. Consistent with comparable semi-residential village approaches elsewhere in the Cabon LGA, because currently it's at 80k zone except during the school times. A reduction in the speed limit on Nashdale Lane and Nancarrow Road approaches. Replacement of the existing give-way signs on either side with stop signs, because at the moment they are just give-way signs. And it's a difficult intersection because when you're coming in from the sides, you don't actually see Cargo Road and you don't realise that it's an 80k zone and it's just a give-way sign. It sort of gives the impression that there's easy access to it when in fact you really should be properly stopping at that point. So I think stop signs on either side would be great. Potentially installation of additional safety measures such as rumble strips, chevron, alignment markers and so on, visual cues. And there's a couple of other things in this letter, which it's a letter that's already been received by council. So I'd just like to formally ask that to go to the traffic committee, please.
Yep, noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Questions for next meeting? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 18 is business paper items for noting. Mover and a seconder. Councillor Ryan, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Does anybody wish to call out any of those noting items there? 1 to 10. Councillor Rawson, number 4. Community survey. All right, anybody else? Anyone else? No? All right. The community survey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. I'm just really asking where and how it's being conducted and how many respondents are expected in the survey. That was all. It was really just a little bit more information about how it's being conducted and is it going to be right across the Shire? Is it just going to be in the main towns and villages, that sort of thing? And how it was going to be conducted? Is it online or is it
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's the same format that's been used for, I think, last 4 years, or approximately. We use a company called Micromex, which is quite prevalent in local government. That's because we get ongoing comparative data by using one of the reasons. We do go through a process though. It's a statistically based grouping, so they target demographic groups that represent across a range to satisfy the statistically solid, and it's done by phone. It's done by I think they use mobile number banks of numbers particularly. So it's to be valid. Obviously, it's not meant to be people proactively engaging in the survey because quite often you get a bias of either people who are quite overly positive or overly negative. So they are randomly selected, if you will, and it's a 250 people selection, which is fairly highly valid size to assess the reliability of the data we get back. So that's basically how it is undertaken.
Thank you, General Manager. So is that across the entire Shire? Correct. So, and is there an aim to get a reasonable distribution geographically?
That's right. That's part of the demographic and geographical spread to ensure that council can gain some level of assurance as to that it's a true reflection of our community's sentiment across all other parameters.
Okay, thank you.
And my knowledge of it is that Micromex is a Central Coast company, and the phone number that will come up on your screen for the people online is a 43 prefix, so it's not a telemarketer. Trying to sell you something, so it's a 43 number. I advertised that on the radio last week to try and warn some people that, take the survey. All right, nothing further. I will put item 18. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 19 is matters of urgency. Move on a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Pearson. Does anybody have anything urgent? Nope. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 20 is committee of the whole section of the meeting. Can I have somebody move that we move into committee whole? Councillor Poole, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Batten. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. So the first item is back to item 8, which is the confirmation of the Pools Advisory Committee meeting minutes. Move on a second, please. Moved by Councillor Poole, second by Councillor Jones. Any discussion at all? Councillor Nash.
Yes, Mr Mayor. It's nothing about the minutes, really. The minutes are fine. It's just that I was walking across the street yesterday in Molong and a lady had come to the council and she wanted to pay her fob and couldn't, and said that she had to go home and wait for a phone call, and she was a little bit peeved. I just heard then later on after that that a lot of the fobs and that aren't working. Is there a problem?
Deputy General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor, there was an initial problem with the fobs letting people into the pools. That has been fixed. There was a singular issue in Canowindra last week, which has been addressed. With regards to the individual trying to pay, that's the first I've heard of it. I'd probably need a bit more details of the person who it was before I could give any more advice on that.
Well, she knew me, but I sort of don't know, couldn't remember her name. But yeah, she just was walking across from the council, said she'd gone into the pay at the council and they said to her they could not take it there, that she had to go back home and wait for Lisa to ring her and then work from there. So I don't know whether it's a matter of training or what's wrong, but they should be able to come in and pay, shouldn't they?
Yes, for you, Mr Mayor, they should be able to. As I said, it sounds like a singular instance, though I'd need to get the information to be able to answer the question.
Councillor Nash pretty much covered what I wanted to say anyway, because a couple of older residents have come up to me and asked the same question. So I think Councillor Nash here has
So
covered
same question as in the fob's not working?
about paying
About paying.
to get their fobs for the pool, because a lot of older people utilise the Molong pool and take advantage of the unsupervised hours in the mornings, and they just asked me to bring it up, and it seems Councillor Nash and the Deputy General Manager have pretty much covered and answered.
Right, thank you. Yeah, we'll get that chased up, see what's happening. Anything further on item 8? Councillor Poole.
Yeah, just because we're talking about it. Deputy Mayor chaired the meeting and did a great job. It was another one of those good meetings with plenty of positive feedback from all the participants, especially in the community. And the one thing we did sort of state that it's really important that everyone go back to their communities and make sure they fobbing correctly, because the data is so important to us. But yeah, it was a good one.
Thank you. Nothing further?
Oh, just one thing, Mr Mayor, I noticed in the report that it was vending machines. Is that something that you're still looking into?
Yeah, it was a discussion, but it's for not this summer. It's for the next summer, if to go back to their communities and chat about. Yeah.
All right, if there's nothing further, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you. Item 12 is also in the committee of the whole, which is the road closure report after advertising Bettering Street and Durauri Street and Carlisle Street, Manildra. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by councillor Nash, second by councillor Batten. Discussion.
Yes, Mr Mayor. I did send an email to the GM, as you probably know, and the thing is that over the last whatever many years it's been going, we've wanted the roads bitumened. Like it's just that the dust is something horrific. I even had the health district nurse come out the other day, and she said, "Oh my God," she said, "the dust," as I was coming out the road, and it's really bad. And I just think this might be our time to do something about that. And I know we're going to have dust from the wheat, and we're going to have dust anyway, but the road dust is pretty bad. And I just wonder why they want gravel roads. My concerns are expressed because of what I've heard in the community. It's the dust and the odour, and if we could just alleviate some of that dust, would be really, really good. And that's just my comment.
Thank you. Deputy General Manager.
Through you, Mr Chair. Your submission, along with Marty's, has been included in this report for information. With regards to the request for road closure and so on, the matter of the dust hasn't been considered in this. There is a modification of development application that's being lodged with council at the moment, requesting for the lifting of the bitumen sealing requirement on the roads, and that's being considered by council staff at the moment. That still has a way to go with regards to neighbour notifications and so on, but through the assessment process, all officers undertaking the assessment have been made well aware of the submissions put forward, and they will form part of council's determination on the matter.
Councillor Ryan.
Okay, this may be quibbly, I don't know. We've got here in the recommendations that council requests the applicant to address potential isolated allotments, and then, so that's number 4, and number 6, it's council requests the applicant to address a creation of easements. I'm wondering what you mean by address, or what that means in this context.
Through Mr Mayor, that would require right-of-way easements be created to each individual allotment that exists to ensure that they have unfettered access to their properties.
So what I suppose my question is, if that's what we want, we shouldn't be saying address. It's the use of the word address, because address sort of almost means that we don't actually want any action, we just want them to acknowledge it. I'm quibbling with the words, the use of the word address, rather than asking them to rectify or remediate or do something quite specific. But I think council needs to let them know what we want rather than just ask them to address it.
All right. Councillor Ryan, we probably need an amendment to readdress the bad choice of a word, to readdress the wording, to change the wording.
Well, just we want to create easements.
Yeah.
Not to address isolated.
We want them
Easements.
to ensure the creation.
Well, just pull out address to the applicant to create
Yeah.
easements.
Yes.
Well, just, it's further down, you see, it says through the creation of.
There's also number 4, which council requests the applicant to address potential isolated allotments. Oh, yeah, okay, yes, same one, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Through you, Mr Mayor, if I could assist, so basically what Councillor Rawson and Councillor Ryan are saying is that item 4 should, or number 4 should read, council requests the applicant create an easement for right-of-way for each individual allotment along the road closure.
Yes.
And number 6 should read that council requests the applicant create an easement for electricity infrastructure in accordance with essential energy requirements.
You just reiterate.
We're just getting rid of. The council requests the applicant to create easements for right of way.
Done? Councillor Ryan, you happy with that?
Well, I can't read it, but yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Council requests the applicant
Yes.
create, so
Yes.
it's changed from council requests the applicant to create an easement for right of way to each individual
Yes.
allotment along the road closure, and number 6 is council requests the applicant to create an easement for electricity infrastructure
That's,
in accordance with essential energy.
it's very specific. It doesn't mean anything other than what it's saying, so yes, thank you.
Well, we can deal with, who was the mover and seconder? You happy with that? Yep. So we'll deal with it that way. So that amendment is accepted by the original mover and seconder, so we're back on track. Anything further? Councillor Paul, looking worried?
I've just got a question. I'm supportive of it because they're obviously a major employee of the town. But if I go back to Councillor Nash asking about the toll roads, and we go into issue 1, which Matt was speaking about, that the current recommendation to approve the sale of the road reserve does not change the intent of the DA. Is the DA in to have it have the roads tarred? But then if they modify the development approval, and we've already agreed to sell this block of land or sell this lot, how does Councillor Nash get a right of reply? Because you don't know until it's too late.
Sorry, what was your question?
I'm supportive of this myself, but I'm asking this on how Councillor Nash has spoke about the roads being sealed, and Matt spoke then that there is a condition requiring Carlisle Street to be sealed, and that they're doing this under investigation. And my question is, if we approve the sale of this now, and then on that information, and then the development application to remove those requirements, how do we get a right of reply if we've approved to sell it because we believe that the roads are going to be sealed, and then the next DA approves them to not be sealed? That's out of our hands because we've already approved it today. And I guess that's more a comment for me to make to Councillor Nash to see where I'm at here.
Yeah, I'll hand over to the experts in a second, but my interpretation of this is that we're actually not dealing with the dust problem today in this, all right? It's been raised, but this doesn't deal with it. It actually just deals with the closure. So I understand where you're coming from and how do we get the answer. The answer is, as Matt's provided, is the sealing of the road or the unsealing of the road is dealt with in the modification, which is going to come to us, or not necessarily. It's going to come to council in the form of the modification. Then it's up to whether or not there's objections, whether that would come back to council for approval. So they need 3 or more objections to the modification for it to come for council for determination, where then we could determine the seal or no seal. Correct?
Through Mr. Chair, I've been given the sentiment that has been expressed by the community with regards to the concern of the dust issue. It will be brought to council for determination of the modification. The original mill expansion there didn't come to council for consideration, so it's not as clear cut as a modification coming to council. But given that we have had submitted concerns now raised, we do have the basis to be able to bring it forward to council for consideration of the modification to the DA.
Yeah, when you look at the flour mill, it is cemented all the way around, which would be hard for, I know, water infrastructure, but it is so tidy looking, and we want this to be the same. Like, we want it to look like a business precinct. We don't want it to look like something that it does look like at the moment. We want it to look better, and we want to save that business being so close to the main street. It is just horrific, the dust and the odour sometimes, and you just wonder why they haven't thought, let's seal this road, let's seal these roads, because it is really bad. And I'm not doing it for myself, I live out of town, so it doesn't really impact me, but it impacts a lot of people, so I'm speaking for the community, and that's who put me here, and that's who I'm speaking for.
Can I just place one comment here? You've got to remember, at the present moment, those roads are our roads. So they are what they are now.
Yeah. Deputy General Manager, through you. How much would it cost if council were going to seal those roads? Just ballpark.
Through Mr. Mayor, I wasn't prepared for that question. The cost will be significant, and that would be that it's not just as simple as putting a spray seal over the road. We are dealing with freight traffic going in and out of those premises, screwing the seal, high weight. So you've got a lot of pavement work in there. To give guidance to council, anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000 a kilometre of work would be required there. And that's a seal. There has been, under the original DA, the intent to concrete, which is even more expensive again.
As I'm asking, because is there potential for us to do it and then sell them sealed? So whatever we're asking for now, add the 300,000 onto it. So you've got yourself sealed roads. It just cost you 300,000 roads.
Through the chair, as it stands right now, there is a condition of development consent that the proponent seals the roads.
Councillor Rawson. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a quick question and then an additional item to be placed in the recommendation, if you don't mind, another amendment. The question I have is, was a letter sent to Central Tablelands Water, because Central Tablelands Water General Manager has not received a letter from Council about this particular thing. So I'd like to add another one after number 6, where between 6 and 7, to become another 7. Council requests the applicant create an easement for water infrastructure in accordance with Central Tablelands water requirements.
Go again with that.
Oh, it should come before. Sorry, should be in there between 6 and 7. Yeah, that's it. So it's just the same as the one above, identical as the one above, where it says electricity. Change that to water. Yeah, water infrastructure in accordance with Central Tablelands water requirements. So, or CTW requirements. And the request was, in fact, that easement be in the same location as it currently exists. So not in a new location. So but if it says in accordance with CTW requirements, it's probably good enough. Yeah.
Mover and seconder,
Thank
happy
you.
with that?
Oh, mover and seconder. Thank you.
All right, anything further? Any more questions, discussion? No? All right, I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour? It's carried. Thank you, everybody. All right, we now got that additional item, item 21. Item 21, which is the quarterly budget review. When I find it. And that's why we have Dale sitting up the front to answer any inquiries. All right, could I have somebody move item 20 in the quarterly budget review, moved by Councillor Paul, seconded by Councillor Rawson. Any discussion on that?
I have a question, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Batten, go ahead.
Well, first,
Oh,
can I...
hang on a minute. Procedurally, we've got to go out of committee of the whole. Can I have somebody move it, go out of committee of the whole? Yep. Councillor Jones, second Councillor Paul. Now we're right away. Councillor Batten.
We might need this in the committee of the whole, Mr Mayor.
You might want to put it back in there.
No, I have a simple question, actually. Firstly, can I commend the staff again on the quality of the report? It's always a pleasure to sit and read these reports, and actually the simplicity that's provided to we non-financial experts, unlike our CFO. I have a question that's in relation to the voluntary purchase of the Yagara Molan property, 164,000, double barrel question. Is the 164,000 the value of the purchase of the properties or the value of the land after demolition of the buildings? And the second part of the question is, after the demolition of the buildings, does the land become a depreciating or an appreciating asset placed in line with market expectations?
Get Matt to answer the first part, but I can have the second part.
Through you, Mr Chair, the additional funds are to fund the project, which include both purchase of the property and the demolition costs and associated costs with those two items.
Sorry, what was that about? From where, for where?
The voluntary purchase of the properties at Yarra and Molan, 4,000 is what I'm referring to.
Is it depreciable?
No, land is not depreciable, but we do value it at fair value. So for land, we put an indexation value at the end of each year that should bring it in line with the fair values that's put out by the Valuer General, with all the indexation rates that we put the percentages in line with other properties in LGA, but it doesn't depreciate land.
Given that it's in flood zone, that was my concern, given that we're getting rid of obviously we're purchasing it, getting rid of the buildings that are on there, then the land is just going to sit there in perpetuity as a non-appreciating asset that may actually appreciate. How do we deal with that in our books?
There is some new guidance coming through the Office of Local Government Code of Accounting Practice next year. They're expecting, if the variance in the indexation isn't material, that we may not even have to do the indexation. So that's some guidance I'm waiting on coming through for that specific purpose, that if we don't think it is a material and change in value, then we're not required to actually report it in the financials. So that is something worth keeping an eye out, and I can keep you updated.
Thank you. Anything further on the quarterly budget review?
Could I just let the councillors know that I am, with the new, as I explained in the report, it's a brand new template that is locked. We can't change a thing, so you will notice on the spreadsheet with all our reserves that we can't even insert a line. So you'll note with the internal and external restrictions, I've had to pick the biggest, 6 and then combine all the others on one line. We are working with the OLG performance team to at least let us allow to insert some lines and recognise all the reserves individually, but you've got that report as it is now, that it's locked. You cannot insert lines, we can't change a thing, so we'll keep you updated on that too as we work with their team on some changes, but all councils are having the same issues that we are with it at the moment, so hopefully they do some tweaking of this new template as we go, but this is the very first quarter, and we'll send it through to the OLG this afternoon or tomorrow and wait for their feedback.
Thanks, Dale.
So Councillor, just on that, so in essence, if you need any tailored information or wish to have tailored information arising from a budget review, it'd have to be by staff putting it in the report, not generated in the actual document that Dale's talking about. Yep.
All right, if there's nothing further, I'll put item 21. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. All right, we now move out of the ordinary into the closed section.